Alexandra Stelmashonok. I'm a graphic designer and calligraphy teacher. Summer is always such a bright and beautiful yet fleeting moment. I always feel like having some souvenirs and keeping some memories from it. So today I would suggest you to make your own calligraphy herbarium, which would contain some bright summer moments as well as calligraphy in various forms. Today I'll show you different ideas how to combine your calligraphy with herbarium with the help of some windows, inlaid work, flowers and a little bit of magic. Let's go!
The first thing we will be making is a kind of an ex libris cut into a sketchbook. You will need pencil, iron ruler, cutting knife, cutting mat, tracing paper, ink with a pointed pen, some fern, double-sided tape. You can also take some transparent binding plastic for the counter, but this is optional. Take a sketchbook, count 2 pages and reserve them for your ex libris. On the first page, draw a letter with a pencil. It's usually best to start with some simple geometric shapes. Here we have the letter A from the Playfair display font. It is free to download and has an open license. Put the cutting mat under the first page and cut through the previously drawn letter. By the way, there are some aspects here. In order not to lose the counter, which also happens to be the hole inside the letter A, you can foresee some special tunnel connections on the sketch and make kind of a stencil. If you want the counter to float in the air, then you can glue thin strips of transparent binding plastic on the other side. It will create a magical effect. Now let's move on to the design of the second page. First we glue natural material. I have this incredible fern, but I made a main mistake with PVA glue. It is better to use double-sided tape or some dry glue variety so that the bottom page does not get wet and become all wavy. After that, take a sheet of paper with calligraphy. I prepared it in advance, as it takes way too much time to write on the spot. It is gestural calligraphy in ink on 90-gram tracing paper. Tear the sheet into strips to get a lively and uneven edge, and then turn the strips face down so that the calligraphic text loses the image of a specific inscription and becomes just an abstract texture. And then start to interlace the strips with natural material so that they pick out from behind each other. Fix the strips with tape or glue and we are done. So here is our welcoming letter. Now we will create 2 faces of the same flower, looking at each other through calligraphy. You will need a pencil, iron ruler, cutting knife, cutting mat, tracing paper, pointed pen, gouache, fern or some other natural material, acrylic spray, sticky tape and some double-sided tape. Take a sketchbook and prepare one spread for the composition. Take some natural material that fits well and beautifully on the page. In my case, it is a branch of white fern. Put it on the right half of the spread and it's time to paint. Make sure that you cover the left side of the double spread with a sheet of paper to protect it from paint. Also, make sure to protect your workspace from the spray. I just took a cardboard box and put the sketchbook inside of it. Then paint the right side of the spread with the fern lying on it and leave it all to dry. Then you can paint the fern itself with a spray on the other side and also leave it to dry. While everything is drying, you can prepare the separating page. I took a 90-gram translucent tracing paper for this purpose. Since I have a bronze spray, I prepared some bronze gouache, mixing it with water into the consistency of ink. The process of preparing gouache usually turns out to be quite intuitive for me. I add water with a pipette very carefully, just a few drops at a time, vigorously stir it with gouache, then try it with a pen, whether it feels okay, and I try to write with it. If the gouache remains on the pen and does not wish to write, then the consistency is way too thick. You need to add a couple more drops of water, and again stir everything vigorously, and so on, until the desired result is obtained. I wrote calligraphy with bronze gouache on tracing paper, and it took me about an hour. Calligraphy is all about slow living. But the main joy of writing on tracing paper is that it can be put on a sheet marked out for writing, and all the lines will be visible. It will be much easier to write accurately and with even spacing. Then we cut the sheet of tracing paper with calligraphy a little bit wider than the width of the sketchbook to simulate that it has always been there. We make a fold line along the width of the sketchbook and glue the remaining tail with double-sided tape or glue. And on top, to hide the edge of this tracing paper page, we glue a sheet of the same size as the sketchbook. I just took the sheet from the middle of my notebook and made a rough edge to make the connection of the pages more interesting. And now the tracing paper page seems to have grown quite naturally between the pages. Then we glue the dry fern on the left side of the spread with a piece of sticky tape or some glue, and it's done! We will create a multi-layered window with a calligraphy message that is visible through the window and that visually intertwines with a flower inlay. You will need a pencil, compass, iron ruler, cutting knife, cutting mat, some small flowers, glue, transparent plastic, double-sided tape, some black paper, pointed pen, and white gouache or ink. Take a sketchbook, plan 3 pages for our experiments. On the first page, use a compass to draw a circle. Then join 2 pages together with paper clips, put a cutting mat under them, and cut the previously drawn circle through 2 pages at once. Then cut out a piece of plastic of the same size as the page of our sketchbook. Glue the plastic with double-sided tape to the bottom of the second of the previously cut pages. Put a previously prepared letter template under the resulting window. It can be anything, but something simple and geometric in shape is the easiest variant. We have a serif font, Playfair Display. The roots of serif capital letters are in Roman capitals, so it's very close to calligraphy, almost calligraphy itself. We lay out the silhouette of the letter with small flowers, and also fill its internal space with them as well. Then we can glue our first page on top to seal our window. or glue another sheet of plastic on top to protect the herbarium, and then seal the window with the first page of the window. Let's make the window look more interesting. So on the third bottommost sheet, make a background that is contrasting to the sketchbook and our dry flowers. In my case, it is black paper. To give it some texture and make it more interesting, I filled it in with calligraphy. And for additional character, I made a sheet out of 2 pieces of paper with a torn edge. It will give even more roughness and some art feel to what is hidden behind the window. And that's it. You can make different inlay designs, create fantastic backgrounds for them, and play with the shape of the window itself. Mine is about the night sky and fragrant summer herbs and flowers. Let's make a pencil drawing of a letter with some flower inlay. You will need some small dried flowers, pencil and glue. This is a simple idea, but it is very dear to my heart. Just draw a letter or a picture with a pencil. A letter is a bit easier because you can leave a straight or slightly curved area blank. This area is intended for an inlay with a dry flower. Choose a thin and graceful flower so that its stalk does not differ too much from the thickness of the pencil line, and paste it into the very heart of the letter. And then the letter itself blossoms and sprouts with leaves and flowers. This is the best illustration of a calligraphy herbarium. Let's create your own unique alphabet from a flower. You will need several dried flowers of the same kind, spray paint, gouache, colored paper, and some chalk pencil. I took lupins, prepared a sheet of paper, and made a light markup for the alphabet. I want to invite you to make your own herbarium of letters. This is a conceptual idea that will happily adapt to different plants. The idea is that any plant can be your tool. Petals of flowers can give oval prints for round shapes, which abound on the alphabet. And stems will become your quills. Each flower will have its own unique texture and character. The lupin did not make the most characteristic flower prints, but it was a pleasure to write with its stem. This is an incredible feeling of working with a natural instrument, which itself sets the character of the line and gives very unusual, special sensations when writing. To bring the rough gestural lines and the flower prints together a bit, I added some more lines and dots with a gel pen. I painted one of my dried lupins with a spray, dried it beforehand, and added to the alphabet page. So you can create the alphabet out of any flower with its own unique character, and the main character itself, of course. And now we'll create a window into the garden from a parallel universe where we can control the weather. You will need a pencil, iron ruler, cutting knife, cutting mat, tracing paper, pointed pen, gouache, some colored paper, some more gouache, dried flowers or leaves, double-sided tape, and just usual sticker tape. Take a sketchbook, count 2 pages for our project. Draw a window on the first page with a pencil. Put a cutting mat under the first page and cut through the previously drawn window. Now prepare the fork page. I took a 90-gram tracing paper and wrote the text on it with gouache so tightly that the text looks like some texture, not text. This page took me about 2 hours to write. Yep, calligraphy is slow, you remember. Select flowers or leaves that will pick out of our imaginary garden and look at us through the window. In my case, these are funny leaves resembling a small maple. Glue them to the back of the window with sticky tape or with glue. Let's hide the tail of the fork page and make the sky outside the window beautiful. I took some paper that was contrasting in color to the sketchbook and my calligraphy. So in my case, it is black paper. I made abstract splashes of paint on it, resembling the Milky Way. In your case, it can be any drawing or abstraction. Then cut the paper to the size of the sketchbook. And now the window with calligraphy fog is ready! Now let's have a look at what we have seen today. Thank you very much for spending part of this summer with me and letters. I hope that I managed to inspire you to create your own herbarium of letters. I will be glad if you tag me in your posts and stories, share the results, and this is how we will inspire each other. So have a beautiful summer, and remember, when you love letters, they will surely love you back.